How's it going, people? It's Charlie and welcome back to another video on the Chatting Footy Show YouTube channel. Hope you're all doing well today. So then, I'm just going to go through the latest round of Premier League fixtures from the weekend just gone. The last games of this weekend were played last night, so I thought I'd put this video out today. So I can speak about each individual game. We've had some crazy results, some expected ones as well. So we'll delve into each one and just give my overall thoughts on each one. So just before I get into that though, I will just say please hit the like button on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Once I get to 100 subs, I am going to start doing the odd watch along here and there. So if you want to see a watch along on this channel, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And yeah, let's get into the video, guys. So then, guys, the first game of this weekend was probably the biggest shock of the season. Never mind this weekend. Chelsea 2, West Brom 5. Yeah, you heard that right if you didn't know already. Chelsea 2, West Brom 5. If I'm honest, from what I've seen of this game, I actually did watch a bit of it live. At Chelsea, I know they had a man sent off as Thiago Silva did get a red card. But even with 11 men, I thought Chelsea were very poor. Too sloppy in possession, especially in their own half. Sloppy all over the pitch, really. There was chances missed, opportunities for them to score, and they just didn't take them. They did go 1-0 up, but then literally 2 minutes later or something like that, Thiago Silva did get sent off. And then from there, it just went downhill. Pereira, who had a unreal game, to say the least. He scored 2 goals just before half time to put them 2-1 up, and then second half it was just back to business for West Brom. Proper taking the game to Chelsea. They were playing like they really had something to fight for. I don't know if this result is going to give them confidence to actually stay in the league, as they are just below Fulham in the relegation zone. Even if they don't stay up, I mean, it's a really good confidence booster for them, just to give them that extra bit of edge going into the last few games of the season. From a Chelsea point of view though, I mean, I think Thomas Tuchel did massively underestimate West Brom, and he took them way too lightly. He made several changes to the team. He left out the likes of Mason Mount, Christensen, Rudiger, key players actually, Havertz as well. I know they've got Porto in the Champions League, I believe it's tomorrow night, but still, like, their squad has enough to beat West Brom, and they should be beating West Brom. So yeah, really poor from Chelsea, but an amazing result for the Baggies. The next game of the weekend was Leeds United against Sheffield United. Leeds managed to get the 2-1 win over the Blades. As I'm a Leeds fan, I did do a post-match video to it after the game. So if you want my overall thoughts on that game, go check it out. I will put the link for that video in the description below. But just to briefly sum it up, goals from Jack Harrison and a Phil Jagielka own goal gave Leeds that win. Osborne did pull a goal back for Sheffield just on the half-time mark, but it was a freak goal. How they even managed to score, I do not know, because it was so woeful, actually embarrassing at times. But yeah, that scoreline is really kind on them, because it should have been probably 5 or 6 for us. Wasted chances, as often the case with Leeds. Sometimes, you know, we create a lot, but we just can't put them away. But we managed to hold on for the 3 points. As I said, if you want my overall thoughts on that game, the link's in the description below for my post-match reaction to that one. So then, guys, next up, it was Leicester against Man City. Man City getting the 2-0 win at the King Power. As expected, really. I think everyone expected City to just edge this game. I did expect Leicester to score, though, if I'm honest. But I feel like City were just too good defensively, which, judging by the team selection, I didn't think that may have been the case. You know, they did make a few changes. Obviously, they have got Dortmund in the Champions League tonight, so that's obviously why they made a few changes. I believe they left John Stones out and put, I think it was Diaz and Laporte at the back. But yeah, they managed to keep another clean sheet and they bagged 3 points on their title charge. I think they are definitely going to win the league this season. I think everyone's pretty much acknowledged that. From a Leicester point of view, I think they were just simply outplayed by the better team on the day. It's not going to affect their season. I think they'll still cement themselves in the top 4. I don't think they've moved out of the top 4 all season, which is an amazing achievement for them. And yeah, I think, City are on course to do the quadruple. Can they do it? I mean, we'll certainly find out, and I'm really excited to see if that is the case. So then, guys, the next game of the weekend was at the Emirates between Arsenal and the champions Liverpool. Liverpool coming away from the Emirates with a 3-0 win. Really good win for them, actually. They were playing like their old selves, actually. Really good going forward. I thought Alexander-Arnold had a blinder of a game, from what I've seen. The assist for Jota's header was an amazing cross into the box. There's debate about whether Trent is going to make the England squad or not. I think that debate is absolute nonsense. If he doesn't go, yeah, Kyle Walker's had an amazing season with City as well, but it's a good headache to have if you're Southgate, and Trent deserves to go to the Euros. He's had a bit of a dip in form, but I think the whole squad for Liverpool have this season clearly. So I still think he should go to the Euros. Arsenal, though, very poor defensively, especially in the second half. Liverpool just seemed to run ragged in that second half and deservedly came away with the 3 points. Can Liverpool make the top 4? I mean, they may be putting all their eggs into the Champions League basket, but I still think that 4th spot is all to play for. I think City, Man United and Leicester are pretty much guaranteed. I think 4th spot, a number of teams could get it. I think Chelsea could get it. Liverpool could still get it for me. West Ham, which we'll touch upon at the end of the video, they climbed in to the top 4 last night. So it's a few teams could get it, and that's another interesting thing about this season as well, is that anything can happen in that top 4, and it'll be interesting to see at the end of the season who does manage to get that 4th spot. Now, in terms of results, guys, this one actually did shock me this weekend. So we've got Southampton 3, Burnley 2. Now, I predicted a 1-1 draw in my preview for this weekend's fixtures, simply because both teams have kind of been unpredictable this season. Southampton have been on a very poor run of form. Burnley are kind of hit and miss. So that's why I just went for a draw in this one. It was actually, I'll be honest, I didn't actually catch this game live, but I've seen the highlights, and from what I saw, it was a really good game. I mean, Burnley going 2-0 up with goals from Chris Wood and Vidra, and then you're expecting Burnley to just hold on to the points at 2-0, but Southampton had other ideas. They managed to come back and win the game 3-2, which must do their confidence a world of good going into the last few games. I think both of these teams are pretty much safe, if I'm honest with you. They've not really got out to play for, so it was actually nice to see the two teams pretty much just go for it, and I'll score more than you sort of mentality. And yeah, Southampton came away with the 3 points, and that must give them the bags of confidence that they need, because as I said, they have been on a very poor run of form, which is hard to believe as they were top of the league at one point at the beginning of the season, weren't they? So yeah, a good game at St Mary's. Southampton 3, Burnley 2. Another shock result for me this weekend was at St James's Park as well. Newcastle 2, Tottenham 2. Surprisingly, Joe Linton managed to get on the score sheet and put Newcastle a goal ahead. But then 2 quick goals from Harry Kane within the space of literally a few minutes, if that, put Spurs 2-1 up. And at that point, you're expecting Spurs to hold on to the game. The players that they've got are much better than Newcastle's, and even with the odd injury and odd player that wasn't in that Spurs team, you would fully expect them to win that game, having going ahead. But they had other ideas, didn't they? Did the Geordies? With actually an Arsenal loanee, Willock, who grabbed the equaliser late on, which was written in the stars, wasn't it, really? An Arsenal player, really, getting the equaliser against Tottenham. So all Arsenal fans will have loved that, I'm sure. Probably the only thing that they could cheer about this weekend. But anyway, so yeah, interesting result given their position in the league. I think the next game I'm actually speaking about is the Villa-Fulham game, but obviously Fulham did drop points, so for Newcastle to get that point was key. And yeah, will they survive over Fulham? I mean, I did say that Fulham would survive, but is that going to be the case now? Who knows? I think at the minute I could easily see this going down to their final game against each other. I think it's going to be that close. But it'll certainly be very interesting to see who has the bottle on the final day. Next up, we're at Villa Park for Aston Villa against Fulham. Villa beating Scott Parker's Fulham 3-1. Again, Fulham go in front and they don't hold on to their lead and they let Villa come back into it and win the game 3-1. I feel like, even though I've said Fulham could survive over the Geordies, I think games like this, when you go a goal ahead and then you just let the teams come back into it way too easily, I mean, from what I've seen, you know, they need to be holding on to these leads. I mean, for me, they play better football than Newcastle, but I feel like what gives Newcastle the edge is that, like the Spurs game that they played, you know, they were getting beat, but they did seem to pretty much fight for it until the end, whereas Fulham seemed to be happy with just a 1-goal lead, which in some games can work, but in games like this it just can't. Villa are a really good team. I don't think Grealish played from what I can remember, but with or without him, they are a good side, Aston Villa, and you can't be complacent against them. But yeah, disappointing for Fulham. But like I just said previously, I mean, it'll be very interesting to see who wants it more on that final day against Newcastle. On to Old Trafford now, where Man United, scum, managed to get the 2-1 win over Brighton and Hove Albion. Brighton going in front through former scum player, Man United player, but, you know, scum, Danny Welbeck. Which was a shock that they went in front, but kind of not at the same time, because Brighton do seem to turn up against these bigger teams sometimes. But in true Man United fashion, goals from Rashford and Greenwood fought their way back into the game and managed to get them the 3 points, which pretty much cements their position in the top 4, wherever they finish, whether it's 2nd, 3rd or even 4th if they manage to have a dip in form. But they've pretty much got enough points now to stay in that top 4, which is good for them, I suppose. I mean, hard for me to say really, but considering the poor start that they had, I mean, I remember them getting beat 6-1 by Spurs at Old Trafford. I mean, you thought it was just going to be a woeful season for them, but to be fair to Solskjaer, he's managed to get them playing well, and they deservedly deserve the place in the top 4. I don't want to say that, but it is true. And yeah, they thoroughly did deserve the 3 points against Brighton. I thought, apart from scoring, from what I've seen, they didn't really offer much. And yeah, Man United just had enough class in their team to see out the win. On to last night's games now, and the first one was between Everton and Palace. Everton will definitely be kicking themselves after this game. The game finished 1-1, by the way, but Everton had a few clear-cut chances that they should be scoring. Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin have missed unbelievable chances for them to get all those 3 points. I mean, James Rodriguez did put them a goal up in the second half. And if I'm honest, from that point on, I thought they were going to hold on to it. The Palace haven't been great this season, but to be fair to them, Abashuai managed to get the equaliser a few minutes before the end of the game. A good point on the road from a Palace perspective. May do them some confidence going into the last few games, so they can hopefully pick up some decent results. As for Everton, as I said, they'll be kicking themselves, especially Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. You need to be scoring these chances in this league. You need to take your clear-cut chances as and when they come. I still think Everton have had a good season though. I think a lot of people maybe fancied them for the top 4, given the signings that they've brought in, Ancelotti being the manager, etc. But I still think they've had an alright season, and hopefully they can build on that next season. And the final game to conclude this weekend's Premier League fixtures was between Wolves and West Ham. West Ham getting the 3-2 win away from home. They were actually 3-0 up in the game. We all expected the Arsenal thing to happen again, where they lost their lead and only came away with a point, or even worse, maybe nothing. But the opening goal from Lingard, I mean, an amazing solo goal. He pretty much ran the whole half of Wolves' pitch and just ran all the way through him and just slotted it in the bottom left-hand corner. Amazing goal. He even contributed to their second goal as well, amazingly so as well, to give Fornals a goal. And they were 2-0 up with, I think it was just under 15 minutes gone. And they were cruising. They even managed to get the third goal as well, just on I think it was about 35 mins gone, through Jared Bowen. Great assist from Lingard as well, really good ball through into him, and he slots it home. Wolves pulled a goal back just before half time, and that's when we all thought, West Ham going to lose another 3-0 lead. And even though Fabio Silva came off the bench for Wolves and got a second goal, they did manage to see out the win. Again, a confidence booster. I mean, like we said, the Arsenal game, joking apart, they were 3-0 up and they drew the game 3-3. The fact that they managed to hold on to that lead will help them massively. They've got some quite hard fixtures in their running as well, and they're chasing the top 4. I know they're in the top 4 at the moment, but it's not guaranteed at the minute. So they'll be wanting to cement themselves in there and get Champions League football. I think at best they'll get Europa League, which again will be an amazing achievement for them. I think David Moyes has really found his feet there now, and hopefully they can kick on next season and have another good season as well. So then guys, thanks for watching this video. The next upload on the channel will probably be my Leeds Man City pre-match on Friday now. I was going to do a Premier League predictions, but I think I prefer just talking about the games afterwards actually, and just going through each one. It's hard to predict the scorelines in this league at the moment, so I'm just going to stick to doing the roundups for the Premier League, and I'll be doing my Leeds United based content as well. So yeah, make sure you check the channel out over the weekend for my pre-match on Friday, and then my post-match will be after the City game on Saturday. And if you've enjoyed this video, as I said at the beginning guys, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in that next one.